right, we are here. What's up, everybody? This is Robert Ferguson. Yes, this is your nutritionist, a guy who shares because I care. And today is no different. We're going to talk about something that may be a little sensitive for some people, but if you know me, it's coming from a place of empathy, compassion. It's coming from my heart. And I want to share information. Now, I'm specifically going to dive in and have a conversation about the health of Black women. The health of Black women. Let me say it one more time. The health of Black women. However, it pertains to all women. When you look at the data, you guys, when you take a moment and you look at the hardcore truth, we are a world, a nation that is declining in health in a big way. I have 30 years experience specifically around nutrition and the work that I do as far as diabetes, getting people off blood pressure medication. And every year, each and every year, people are more and more and more unhealthy. And there's no alarm, there's no parades, there's no call to actions, I don't see anyone chanting this. I don't see anyone. And so I am going to dive in and talk about the Black woman. Because more than anyone, the Black woman's health is declining more than any other ethnicity. Now, right behind them, you have the Hispanics. And then if you just remove any ethnicity and just look at people, every year we are worse off. And I feel like people don't talk about it. It's like they're doing nothing about it. And many people are walking around and posting on social media and look at me and they got high blood pressure. They're pre-diabetic or they're full-blown diabetic, or they're living with both diabetes and high blood pressure. Then they have other health challenges that show up. Inflammations at an all-time high. Cancer at an all-time high, not just for older people, but for all people. More young people today than ever in history, since we've been keeping stats, are being diagnosed with a variety of cancer. So let me ask you, if you knew that you were 4 times more likely to experience dementia or Alzheimer's, and there was something you could do about it, let's say you could reduce the risk by 50%. Would I get your attention? Or would you just, oh, that's interesting, and keep it moving? Because that's what I experience. That's what I'm seeing. And I know that there's a lot out there when it comes to information, and it's kind of difficult at times to figure out, which way do I go? Like, what's the best approach for me? And I mean, I want to show you some stats. It would be worth. And I'm showing you these stats because, let me just pull out some stats. Okay. Now, these are stats from last year in 2023. Now, these weren't all Black women. This was a variety of all kind of people, right? So you had 490 people participating. So if you look at the top left, you can see 490. All 490 people wanted to lose weight. And right under that, you can see 100% of all participants lost weight. So everybody lost weight and no one quit. This was a 12-month trial in 12 months. And then you can see at the very top that we had 51 type 2 diabetics. And we had people on medications that they were told they would be on these meds for the rest of their life, right? 173 people on metformin, 152 people off blood pressure medication. Sandy, one of my coaches and dear friends and clients, I'm so proud of you, Sandy. Sandy was almost at 40 years. I mean, I may be a little short on that, but yeah, almost 40 years of being on high blood pressure medication, and she just got off. It's gone. I mean, so when you see it all the time, right? People getting off meds and people reversing their diabetes and people losing weight. And when you see it with clients and then you look at people who are doing nothing with their weight, they seem to appear stuck. They just have they've normalized taking blood pressure medication. It's interesting. Now, this group, we had 23 that were confirmed with fatty liver. I believe that number would have been around 250 out of the 490 because every other adult has fatty liver. And fatty liver creates a whole bunch of other problems, creates problems with cholesterol, just on and on and on. And we had 33 people taking statins for their cholesterol. And if you look underneath, you can see significantly 93% of anyone who is a type 2 diabetic comes to me, they're no longer a type 2 diabetic. 89% of people we get on off metformin. 82% were able to eliminate blood pressure medication. 61% off statins. 73% off fatty liver. No longer having a fatty liver. Just think about that. Think about those stats, because if you were talking to someone and they were experiencing health challenges and you knew that there is a solution with regular food, they could get off meds, would you tell them about it? I would think most of us would. Now let's take a moment. I wrote it out, but I want to say this out loud. And then I'll make my point. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to comment. I'm open to answering any questions that I can. Black women compared to their counterparts, Caucasian women. Every Black woman you see is 4 times more likely to experience or get dementia and Alzheimer's. 4 times. That's pretty damn significant. Very significant. And if you guys didn't know, women are more likely overall than men to experience dementia and Alzheimer's. Black women are 80%. 80%. That is a lot. More likely to be diagnosed with type 2 diabetes in their life compared to Caucasians. Think about that. Black women experience a higher rate of diabetes due to other conditions, to include high blood pressure, obesity, and not being active, sedentary lifestyles. This is crazy. And no one's like losing their mind over this. Black women are more likely to experience complications of type 2 diabetes. And we're talking about going blind, renal disease, and losing limbs, having their limbs amputated. Black women are 40% more likely to die from cancer. And staggering, all of this is staggering. Black women are close to 70% of adult Black women are obese compared to 43% of Caucasian women. That's significant. And nobody's talking about it. And nobody's really sharing the solution. And it's interesting, right? Because as I record this, we're in a political climate, and the word just came out that Kamala who's the vice president with Joe Biden, is going to be running for president of the United States as I'm recording this, because things just keep changing. And regardless of what your political beliefs are, I do find it very inspirational to watch a lot of Black women rally behind Kamala to support her with the goal of her becoming president of the United States. Whenever I see people rally behind something, they get excited about something, the enthusiasm is high behind something, it gets my attention. And I love seeing how people are rallying. Again, regardless of your political beliefs, I do like the idea. I love seeing these Black women rally and get behind Kamala. Love it. I take my hat off to it. I think it's absolutely amazing, and that's great. But then at the same time, just to draw a comparison, and they're completely different, but man, what I love to experience in my life, Black women rallying behind a way, could be my Die for Your Life methodology, could be some other way, but get excited about no longer being 4 times more likely to experience dementia or Alzheimer's. I want to see Black women, all women, you guys get my point, rally behind reversing or at least reducing the prevalence of obesity among Black women. It is predicted in the next 6 years that 80% of Black women will be obese. Wow. I don't even have the words sometimes for some of this stuff. So when you look at a group of people and you know health is declining that bad, that fast, you hope that somebody's going to wake up, right? Because many of us just get comfortable taking medications. We don't even think about life without taking meds because the doctor said, take the meds, you got high blood pressure. You take the meds, they check your blood pressure, everything is looking good. You continue to take the blood pressure meds, right? And no one ever asked these people, or maybe they never asked, what would happen if I continue like Sandy and take the medication? Yes, it's helping me, but 30 years, 35 years, 40 years later, is it creating any other problems in my body? Is there any other potential negatives? Some of it could be neuropathy. I see that a lot. People come to me, they have high blood pressure for years. They start to lose feeling in their fingers and their toes. And a lot of these people are not overweight. And what do we know? We know that 2/3 or 2 out of 3 people who are taking blood pressure medication, if they live long enough, they will be a type 2 diabetic. So if you're taking blood pressure medication, and let's say you're fairly young, maybe in your 40s, 50s, early 60s, if you live to be 80, 85, there is a strong likelihood you will be a diabetic also at that time. So now you got more meds. You have 2 chronic situations, high blood pressure, type 2 diabetic. Both and the medications are creating a lot of internal damage. So, that's why I keep seeing all these new dialysis centers opening up. Interesting, isn't it? See, I'm doing this post today because I want to inspire you guys. Whether you're white, Black, Indian, Mexican, it doesn't matter. Let's learn from what we're seeing taking place with Black women, because these conditions that I'm mentioning have been there for years. And as obesity got worse, Black women were leading the race. As more people became type 2 diabetic or found themselves with high blood pressure, Black women are leading the race. Now, there are some populations we could go to, like Prima Indians and people living on reservations, and they have a lot of other challenges to include what we're talking about. But when 70% of people who look like you are obese, that's pretty damn scary. It's really scary because there's a way to fix it. Okay, so let me show you. Let me show you a picture. All right. So as you can see in this picture, this is one of my clients, Daphne. So Daphne, Black woman, a nurse for 33 years. And she was diabetic. She was taking blood pressure medications. She was taking statins. She had acid reflux. She made a decision after seeing me on TV to reach out. She went on the program, and now she's no longer diabetic. She's no longer taking blood pressure medications. She's no longer taking statins. She lost some weight. She no longer has acid reflux, and she's living her best and healthiest life. And it's not just highlighting her as a Black woman. Look at Betsy. Betsy, full-blown type 2 diabetic, hemoglobin A1C at 14.5, fasting glucose 278. If you check your glucose, you know that that's pretty high. She's on blood pressure meds, statins, metformin, and not anymore. Look at Brett. He loses 137 pounds. He's on blood pressure medication. He's taking depression meds, SSRIs. His sleep is all over the place. But that's the past. That's no more. He learned how to eat. And this is not something that is hard for people. This is something available to everybody. To everybody. Then look at Linda. She was on blood pressure medication and statins for cholesterol for 14 years. And she was told she would be on it for the rest of her life, but not anymore. She's actually saving $2,500 a year now because she don't have to spend it on meds because she decided to eat better. She learned the methodology and she's doing great. The opportunity is there for all of us. All of us. Everybody can do something about their situation. Unfortunately, many people won't. And I see this trending in the Black community. And it's almost become normal to just give up. When you finally get a disease or you finally get, something that you don't like and it doesn't feel good, I think some people, they just give up. And I get why you would give up, because you don't know that there's a way to learn how to eat where you don't feel deprived, you don't feel restricted, you don't feel like you got to overhaul your entire life. You're eating regular everyday foods. You just learn how to eat them in the right combinations and with the right proportions. It takes about 45 minutes at the max to learn our diet-free life methodology. We know this because we've tested this again and again and again. We tested it with 6-year-olds, first graders. And in 45 minutes after giving them the presentation, they all passed. They all knew how to eat the way we teach people how to eat so that they can get the results we're talking about. Yeah. We've done it with people who go to fast food restaurants, people who eat out a lot, truck drivers. The list goes on and on. So as I share this with you, it's one of those things where I go, no one has to fall prey to everything that I've shared with you. No one has to live a life where they're 4 times more likely to get dementia and Alzheimer's as they mature. When 80% of diagnosis for type 2 diabetes falls in the hands of a Black woman compared to a Caucasian, that's scary. So 8 out of 10 times more likely. So every black woman, everyone that's black, your moms and you are 80% more likely to be diagnosed with type 2 diabetes than any person you work with or know that's Caucasian. That's scary. So I want to invite you, right? So if you look underneath in the comments, or the description, I put a free link to a little presentation. It's about 25 minutes long. So, you can watch it, listen to it when you're driving, whenever it works. That's there because part of my recommendation as far as a solution would be what you learn from that presentation. There is a product, and it's a product that works whether you change your nutrition or not. And I'm not going to go into great detail here, but I will at another day. But you can get a pretty good idea what I'm talking about by just watching the presentation. Also, subscribe to our free newsletter so that you're on our mailing list. So that when we mail out anything, that you have the option to look at it or learn from it, get a recipe, etc. And then if you want a free consultation, right, you want to learn how working with me or one of our coaches can help you reduce the risk of Alzheimer's and dementia, reduce the risk of being diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, reduce the risk of, being diagnosed with any kind of cancer, and learn how to eat in a way where you can maximize your health and your life for the rest of your life. Yeah. I mean, these are real stats, man. These are real numbers. And I'm watching too many of my sisters fall prey, and then we start getting into this habit where we go, well, I didn't get it until now. I know someone who got it and they were younger than me. And you start comparing to make it easier to sleep at night instead of grabbing that bull by the horns and doing something about it. So my thoughts are, if we can get people to rally around this, man, wouldn't that be exciting? I mean, if Kamala wanted to get my attention, all she has to do is get serious about health and bring back some awareness to that, become aware of these numbers, and you got my attention. I will work with any administration. I will work with anyone that can help give me a platform so I can help and reach more people. And if we could help Black women, which we're going to help all women, you guys know where I'm going, because Black women are the leaders. Way more obesity, way more cancer, way more type 2 diabetes, way more dementia and Alzheimer's. I mean, come on, we're not cursed here. There is something going on with the way we live our lives, and we know this already. But Black women, and I know they can rally because you see them doing it with Kamala right now. Why aren't they getting excited and wanting to do something about this? Like, I want to drink more water when I'm around my kids so they can see me drinking water. And today they love water. I wanted them to experience that. And I'm glad their mom did the exact same thing. I wanted to be the example for them. Both my kids, they go work out. They work out on their own. It's unbelievable. Not just for a sport. They just grew up seeing that. They drink water. They eat. They don't overdo the junk. My daughter, they're taking the balanced oil. Acne is the thing of the past because of that. Menstrual cramps is a thing of the past. So that's where I am with it, everybody. That's where I am with it. I want to see people get raged, get upset. And every little Black girl you see, 8 years old, 12 years old, if you have kids, they're now older, they're maturing, they start to have health problems. And you start to see them experiencing many of the things that you experience that you wouldn't wish on your own kid. or you're starting to experience things that you saw grandma and mama and whoever else experiencing. It's really sad. And it does not have to be this way. I know food tastes good and I know you don't want to think, but it needs to start from the top. I can't tell you how many pastors, okay, pastors of churches, bishops of churches I've broke bread with. I've been in private meetings. We've talked about the health of their congregation. And when it's all said and done, whether it was a person I was talking to who was a woman or a man, and I'm talking, there's some real popular ones, they do nothing. Nothing. And I know I'm not saying this is not everybody, but you don't get crazy, outrageous percentages of poor health in every ethnic group. Black folks, it ain't looking good. And when you dive in deeper and I look at my own experience, I watch a lot of Black women do nothing. Try this, try that, but never really take it seriously. And I'm here to help. Now, I have a lot of Black women that are clients, and I'm thankful for that. And I'm watching them do great. But I'm just one person. We need to create a movement. We need to get people outraged, get people just mad. Because once we cross 70% obesity rates with Black women, the chances of it going back down, I don't see it happening. And I'm a positive, optimistic kind of person. In 1960, overall percentage of obesity was 13%. That's gone up 30%. We're at 43%, almost at 45% actually. Now, were Black women leaner or around that same percentage in 1960? What happened between 1960 to where we are now? And then when you look at the kids, the obesity rates is even worse. So what you see trending with adults, you see now trending with kids. And again, nobody's doing anything. Well, I am, but you guys know what I'm saying. They're doing nothing. It's mind-blowing to me. I go to, like I was just talking to one of my clients. She said she went to a big, sorority convention, 5,000+ women. I said, hey, well, so did they have talks on nutrition, talks on health? And maybe they did, maybe they didn't. But she said she didn't see anything like that. I was like, wow. She says, yeah, it was mostly people giving talks who are already part of the organization. And I said, well, obviously, you look out into the crowd of 5,000 Black women, and let's start going down the list. We know that these women are 4 times more likely to experience Alzheimer's and dementia, and there was not one talk about Alzheimer's and dementia. We know that Black women are very near to 70% obesity rates. That means 7 out of every 10 Black women, not overweight, but obese. And there was no talk about that? No, she said there was no talk. Overall health, heart disease, diabetes, there's no talk about it? No. No talk. So you guys tell me in the comments. Help me understand what this is. What does that mean? Like, what does that mean? That's the part that just continuously drives me absolutely crazy. Because people do nothing. See, I believe that when you see a problem and you've confirmed there's a problem, then you look at how can we come up with a solution. And when you have a solution and you constantly watch Black women continuously just go to the doctor, Oh, I got to go see my doctor. Oh, I got to get on this. Or he wants me to take this. Well, they have me doing this now. Oh, I got to go get my annual this. Like, when I first really saw a lot of this, you guys, is when, and again, some of you probably don't know me, first time hearing me talk, but I've done work on the highest levels, multi-billion-dollar companies. I've been in the room, celebrities, athletes, big companies, small companies, famous people. But when I went to Susan G. Komen, is it Susan G. Komen? It's been a while because I got turned off when I went there the first time. But I had met key people there. Yeah, Susan G. Komen. So they invited me to the headquarters. And when I went to the headquarters, the thing that stood out to me was almost every testimonial, whether it was on video or whether there was pictures, because they had a beautiful setup. I mean, conference room was nice. Everything was just really nice. And everybody was driving really nice cars and everybody looked really nice. And this is not a dig. I'm just telling you what I experienced. So I walk in, the entire staff that I meet is Caucasian. And every person on the staff is white. Okay. Women, not one man. And again, this is not a negative. I'm just telling you what I saw. And then I looked at all the pictures on the walls of people who were supporting events they've put on. And then they play videos where I get to watch these testimonials. I think probably 85% of the testimonials and the pictures of people on the wall were Black women. And then Latinas, Hispanic women, which I know their numbers are right behind Black women. And I remember leaving there going, that was really interesting. And the most interesting was the conversation that I helped create while I was there. Because I said, hey, have you guys ever thought about, instead of when people go do the big Susan G. Komen walks, what if we teach them about nutrition? Because if you learn how to eat better, you can reduce the risk of getting cancer again. And it was almost like I was talking to deers staring at headlights. There was no interest in that because that's solution-based. They're not in the business of solution. They're in the business of raising funds. I don't know what they do with all those funds. I mean, it's pretty obvious they got a nice office. There's nice cars everybody's driving. It seems like everybody's doing really well. But what about preventative strategies? They don't do that. So again, there's people who hear me all the time and they do nothing. They just get comfortable with where they are, or they'll try to do something on their own, or I don't know what they're doing, but I know that the numbers get worse every year. And many of you who are listening in, you're gaining weight. Your health is declining. And for some reason, you're not doing anything about it. That's the part that I want someone to help me understand that. And any of my clients who are listening, when we have our coach call, bring it up to me when we're talking. Say, hey, Robert, I heard you on your live. And you know what? You want to know why women aren't doing anything? This is my 2 cents. I would love to hear it. I would love to hear your thoughts. Help me understand why you do nothing. Why you do nothing. Now, I shared a couple weeks ago a story, and I'll end on it by sharing the story with you guys. It's a story about this old man who lives on the block. He sits on the porch every day. And right next to him is this dog. And this man always walks his daughter right in front of this guy's house as he takes his daughter to school. And every time they walk past the house, they can hear the dog moaning like it's in pain. And one day, because the young girl's getting bigger, she was really pressing the dad saying, Daddy, we should ask what's wrong with the dog. So they stop and they say, excuse me, sir, we notice your dog seems to be going through and experiencing a lot of pain. Do you need help? Is there anything we can do? And the old man sitting there smoking his pipe says, he's okay. He's lying on a nail. It's like, what? He's lying on a nail? Well, if it's painful, why don't he just get up? And then the old man was like, he'll get up eventually. See, the moral of the story is that many people are lying on a nail. And that nail could be, I'm pre-diabetic. That nail could be, I've gained some weight. I would love to lose. That nail could be, I am starting to lose my hair. That nail could be, I think my memory's starting to slip. But whatever that nail is, even though it's uncomfortable, people like the dog will do nothing. So my goal is to figure out how to motivate people to do something that creates a newfound like energy where people are like, I'm going to do something about this and I'm going to do it now. That's what I'm looking for. So when you talk to me, share. I'm open ears, because even though I'm very clear and I'm speaking specifically about Black women, I'm speaking specifically about everybody who wants to improve their health. Again, Black women are leading the trend. They have the highest rates of obesity. They have the highest diagnosis of type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, dying prematurely. If you look at the census, the Black community is dying. It's being reduced significantly. Not long ago, we were 15, 16% of the population. Not anymore. You got the broken homes. You got people like, just, it's tough. It is tough. So again, I'm bringing you the awareness there. I've given some links. So you have like a free seminar you could watch. That link is there. You can schedule a free consultation. That link is there. You can get our free newsletter. That link is there. So it doesn't cost you anything to take a first step. So you can't say it's money. And if you do a free consultation with me, it's your time. You don't have to become a client. You can ask me questions and I'll help you the best I can. All right. Mission accomplished, everybody. I hope you guys got something out of that. I did, because it gave me an opportunity to vent and share information about something that matters to me. I mean, my mom is Black. My sister's Black. The women in my life are Black. And I care about their health. I care about your health. I care about everybody's health. That's why I do what I do. But somehow we got to get people to take the first step. It's the first step that is going to remove those people out of those horrible stats I've been talking about. Just because, Black women are 4 times likely to experience dementia and Alzheimer doesn't mean you got to let that happen. You don't have to be like everybody else. You could say, I'm going to do something different. And then we should do something different. And when you have the batting percentage, right? The success percentage that we have with the Diet Free Life methodology. I mean, if someone's a type 2 diabetic, not all, because sometimes your situation could get to a place where you can't really turn it around. But if someone's a type 2 diabetic and they are aware that we can reverse type 2 diabetes in 93% of our clientele, and they choose not to take us up on that offer, then wouldn't you agree that that person is saying, I choose to continue to be a type 2 diabetic? I don't want to get rid of this. I want to be a type 2 diabetic. Now, I may be coming across a little sarcastic, maybe, but isn't that true, though? If 10 people came to work with me tomorrow, a year from now, tomorrow, 9 of those 10 people will no longer be a diabetic. I like those odds. So why would a person not? So when we talk on the phone, please share that with me. And I get some people are just stubborn. Some people don't want to stop and listen long enough to learn anything. Some people think they already know everything, so they want to do it their way. Okay, so I get that. You can't help everybody. But for those who we can reach, how do I get them started? What's the magic words? What can I promise them? Because it seems like the more you lie or over-exaggerate, then you get people's attention. I mean, look what happened to the weight loss program called Noom. I mean, I've met a lot of people over the years who have done it, and those same people stop doing it. So people eventually get to a place where they know that, oh, yeah, I'm wasting my money and time there. Oh, I did keto already. Yeah, I lost some weight, but then I gained it all back. When do we literally get to that place where you say, you know what? I'm going to take a food as medicine approach. I'm going to learn about nutrition, and I'm going to learn how to make this work for my life and lifestyle. There you go. All right, you guys, I'm Robert Ferguson. I share because I care. Again, the links are provided. If you have questions, just set up a free consultation. If you, if we can help you in any kind of way, reach out. Okay. So until the next one, I'm Robert Ferguson. Be blessed, and I'll be with you mañana. Peace out.